Good day, ma'am. I am Maria Ellen Musa, and I'm going to report about the chapter 2, which is Theory of Organization in Business and Industry. So, sound practice and fundamental principles, terminology in business. So, a principle can be defined as a fundamental statement or truth providing a guide to thought or action. The fundamental statement applies to series of phenomenon under consideration and signifies what results to expect when the principle is applied. Hence, by means of principles of management, a manager can avoid fundamental mistakes in his works and with justified confidence can reasonably foretell the results of many of his efforts. So there are certain principles of management that are reasonably well established, accepted, and used. They cover many facets of management. However, there are unknown and managerial areas of which no management principles have been established. These are to represent the challenge to future management research and to discovery of principles applicable to these particular areas. So, sound practice and fundamental principles in business organizations and management are essential for achieving success, maintaining efficiency, and fostering a positive work culture. So, these practices and principles serve as guiding frameworks that help business navigate challenges, make informed decisions, and create a strong foundation for growth. So, the attributes of the term organization. The word organization has been used to transmit a variety of meanings by various authors. A certain author, for instance, defines organizations in the broad sense of a collection of persons working together for a common purpose. Another equally known author employs the word organization to indicate a group of individuals who are cooperating willingly and effectively for a common end. Still another author defines organization as the structural relationship between the various factors in the enterprise. So the structural factors are what we call the 5 M's, which is the men, materials, machines, methods, and money. So this attribute of the term organization is a structured entity composed of individuals and resources that work together to achieve a specific goals. The next one is the basic consideration in organization. So the building of an effective organization requires the use of sound business judgment. So no single plan could be applied indiscriminately in every situation. Each organization is discrete problem in itself. There are multitude of factors bearing on making of decision. Thus, in developing any organization, the following considerations should be taken into account. So the first one is there should be a clear and complete statement of the objectives. So, dapat na ay clear and complete statement sa usa ka objectives. So, the second one is there should be a thorough analysis of the entire proposition surrounding the business. So, the third one is the necessary functions should be determined. The fourth one is the men's best fitted for the work and to head each department or division should be selected. So, dapat if mo select sila, dapat fit ang usa ka tawa na to head each department or division. The basic consideration in organization is a fundamental principle, concepts, and factors that need to be taken into account when managing and operating a business or any type of organization. So these considerations serve as the foundation for making decisions, setting strategies, and ensuring the smooth functioning of the organization. So the next one is the underlying principles of organization. The foregoing consideration are considered on the basis of underlying principles. Inasmuch as each business has conditions peculiar to itself, a set of rules cannot of course be laid that would be applicable to organization of all enterprises. So however, certain underlying principles can be given. Among them are number one is the principle of objective. Number two is the principle of analysis. Number three is the principle of simplicity. Number four is the principle of functionalization. Number five is the principle of departmentalization or departmentation. Number six is the principle of centralization of authority and responsibility. Number seven is the principle of limited span of executive control. So these underlying principles of organization is fundamental concepts and guidelines that guide the design, structure, and management of an organization to ensure its effectiveness, efficiency, and success. So these principles provide a framework for making decisions, setting strategies, and creating a functional and procedure and productive work environment. So, application of principles. The use of principles by any particular establishment is a matter of adaptation. This is, after all, the use of good sense in applying knowledge. Any business to be successful must be built according to certain basic principles. It must be built along definite, carefully planned lines so that the structure will be strong and will not collapse under its own weight. So, it must be flexible to withstand the continually changing conditions in business. So the application of principles is putting the fundamental concepts and guidelines into practice in order to effectively manage and operate an organization. So these principles, whether they pertain to management, organization, design, decision making, or employees relations. So it serves as framework for making informed and consistent choices that lead to successful outcomes. So the limiting factors in applying principles. So there are limiting factors present in business. The successful businessman applies the basic underlying principles in accordance with conditions in particular concern. In a certain business, basic principles may be applied fully to advantage, while in other are not. So because there are present limiting factors which stand in the way of a full application of the principles in question. There are four major divisions of activity. These are the finance, sales, production, and engineering. So limiting factors in applying principles refers to the obstacles or challenges that can hinder the effective implementation of fundamental principles and concepts. So these factors can arise from various sources, including organizational, culture, external environment, resource constraints, and human dynamics. So, recognizing and addressing these limiting factors is crucial for successfully integrating principles into business operations. So, the need for sound organizations methods. In the historical development of business, there was at first no real plan or organization in business. Many businesses simply grew with the times, the organization being built about the available personnel without any reference to any definite plan. So the next one is the need for an organizational charts. Organizational charts are diagram forms representing the important aspects of an organization, including the major functions and their corresponding relationships, the channels of supervision, and the relative authority of each employee in charge of their respective functions. So we all know about organizational charts. It is a diagram form siya nga nag-show sa mga posisyon sa usa ka employee or sa mga employees sa usa ka organization. So the next one is the organizational manual. An organizational manual is a supplement to the organizational chart by providing additional information on the details presented in the organizational chart. So manuals clearly expresses the functions, duties, relationships of each organization, unit, and makes available information or pertinent matters concerning each position. So how to diagnose organization? The big reach in organization development in recent years has been to wrap everybody up in some prepackaged solution. But managers are not the same wherever they work. The organization itself makes a profound difference to the nature and problems of the men who are attempting to manage. So it involves assessing various aspects of the organization to gain insights into its current state. So identify strengths and weaknesses and pinpoint areas for improvement. So there are at least four linking strands, which is the history, resources, knowledge, and relationships. So which the diagnostician needs to isolate before he can recommend any sensible scheme for improving any company's performance in human or material term. So that's all. Thank you.